Hello everyone, welcome back to the lab. It's been a while since my last post, but today I've something also fun that I want to bring to everyone on the channel. Um, have you seen the topic? It's about the Dark World because we got a new Dark World structure deck last week, and then I've been looking around online, YouTube, Facebook, other Discord. I haven't seen anyone really posting ideas similar as mine. Therefore, and then I so well I brought my build specifically to like a local last weekend, and then had some fun with it. So I guess I would just share it to the public and then share this danger Tearlament branded thing hand loop thingy whatever thing to the public, and then hope you like it. So without further ado, I guess let's hop into the deck list. It's a bit different than a lot of the Dark World I've seen online. Most of them have danger cards, which this one doesn't. And then mainly is it operates based on just the Dark Worlds and a little bit other small packages. So I guess I'll introduce you the Dark World cards first. Um, Ring Baynox, the Overking, is one of the new card. It has a similar effect as Grapha, which is the old face cover card from the old Dark Structure deck. Um, Baynox can be special summoned by return a level 7 lower Dark monster I control to the hand to special summon from the graveyard. And then, similar as Greffa, Greffa can return any Dark monster in the graveyard or on the field and special summon it from the graveyard. So, by having both of them in the graveyard, any Dark monster becoming Greffa and recycle Baynox to the hand. Um, it has another effect where if it discard by card effect, I search a level 5 or higher Dark monster, which mainly Greffa and then Silver, which you're gonna see later. And then if discard by opponent, it get the additional effect to special summon another Dark monster to either side of the field, which also comes up quite often. And then Greffa, which I mentioned earlier, it's the old Dark monster on the face cover monster from the structure deck. If it is discarded by card effect, I pop a card from my opponents, and then it rarely get this card from the opponent. But if it happens, I can randomly check one of their hand, and if that's a monster, I get to special summon it, which doesn't really happen often because whenever it can be triggered by an opponent, it usually will be more benefiting to trigger like other Dark Hole monster, get the additional effect. And then Grapha honestly is a little bit bricky because when the main effect when it get discarded, it doesn't gain any card from your side. So having 3-2 is enough. I mean, Baynox can already search Grapha when it's being discarded, so it's good enough. The next one is Silva. Silva is one of the oldest Dark Hole monster existing in the game, I think. If discarded by the grave to the graveyard by card effect special summon, if discarded by the opponent instead of in addition to special summon it, also your opponent has to has to put two of their hand to the bottom of the deck, um, and by their choices. And then this is not once per turn. So the hand loop pretty much try to resolve Silva twice, and then that will get rid of 4 cards from their hand, which is how this hand loop really functions. Then Snow, when discard by card effect, search a Dark World, and then when discard by opponent, in addition, you special summon one. You special summon a target from a monster from your opponent graveyard. The deck focus on going first, so this second part barely happens or almost never happens. So just use the search effect. And then Genta is another new card from the new Dark World structure deck. It has a restriction where I can only special summon the same name once per turn, which is the restriction. And because of this restriction, neither of its effect is really once per turn. Its first effect, I can discard it, search the Gates of the Dark World, one of the best Dark World cards in the game. And then this effect is not once per turn, so there's actually a mini loop that we are using Genta a lot to grab as many gates as possible. The second effect, this card is banished, get to special summon back, which this technically is like hard once per turn because Genta can only do special summon by once per turn. Um, but this combos very well with Gate, since Gate banish one from the graveyard, and then Genta plus like Genta into Gate is like one of the best starting thing to have in the whole DarkWorld deck. It's very crucial. Brow is when discard by card of a draw card, discard by opponent, draw another card. Uh, Brow is not really that good. It's a level 3, so the level matters a little bit. Um, and then the draw and fun, it's like it's cool, but it doesn't guarantee anything. Usually for how many good Dark World cards now existing, I think Searching is just better. So it kind of serves as like a forced copy of Snow usually, which that's why one is the most I end was having. Celery is an old card from the old Dark Horse structure now. However, it was hard to utilize the full potential of the card back in the past. And then there's the new cards in the new structure that really enabled it. If this card to the graveyard by card effect, I get to special summon Celery to my opponent's field. And then if this card is special summoned by a Dark Hole, by the effect of a Dark Hole card, uh, Celery's opponent discard a hand, which the similar combo is I discard itself for any effect. It triggers go to the opponent's field. Then Celery will force me to discard a card, and this is technically an opponent card at the moment, which will trigger the additional effect of every other Dark World card in the deck. Then that allows to the silver hand loop to be possible, and that's like pretty much every new Dark World deck, any strategy centralizing on it is mainly focused on this combo, Celery plus Silva, and then resolve it twice. In a turn, will get rid of 4 cards in the opponent's hand. But there's also a last card which we'll get to soon. Transarch Fiend is not a Dark monster. It's a very good support monster for Darkhold. There are actually a few of them that's similar. Raven, Fable Raven. This one's also even reprinted in the structure deck. Um, it's a Life Fiend. Uh, Says discard any number of cards, then gain level and attack. It discard for the effect, so it can trigger all the Dark Room monsters. And this one itself is a tuner, so this one can allow like some synchro plays. And another one, I think it's Salomon. What's the name? Let me check. It's Fire Fiend. It's this one. Salamander Catalyzer. It's a TCG exclusive card from one of the recent set. It's kind of a pseudo danger card that I've seen other people playing that I also tested. You review this card and another fiend, special one of them to discard the other. Um, and then so these 3 were my choices when I was building the deck. The downside for the last 2, Raven and then Catalyzer, are that these 2 are fiend, but they are not dark, and then they are kind of bad with allure in the deck. Transarch Fiend is like the least rewarding one. It almost required the normal summon, and then I only discard 1. However, it is a dark, so it allows allure, and also because it's soft once per turn, it can be revived later, and use the effect again, which catalyzes a crit. However, if Chaos Ruler still existing in a game that didn't get banned, uh, like 2 lists ago, I think Raven could be seeing some plays, because Chaos Ruler is a pretty good both level 8 and the effect and then other things. And getting to level 8 isn't hard. Just Raven pitch 1, then 3-5, 5 being Silva, and 3-5 into 8. Or Raven pitch 2, then 2 plus, then this become 4-4-4 into 8. That's also possible. And Raven itself being a 2 in situation can go 2-8 into Baron. That's also like a pretty good ending board thing. Or even just a thing that protecting it, things from like wild comboing. So Raven could be seeing some play, but in my build, I ended just having Transarch Fiend for the dark attribute, because otherwise it could be breaking and then causing the combo fail. Then there's the fun card. There's one copy of Tearlament Sharon. Sharon, obviously, as a tier card, it's good. Sharon, particularly just as a card in general, is also very good. It allows, it's a special summon by pitching other thing. It sent to graveyard by card effect. It's not discard. It doesn't trigger any of the DarkWorld. But milling the deck could be good to set up like Baynox or Grapha into graveyard, or even just another card that I'm gonna mention soon. And the second effect, actually, the fusion effect, despite this being the only tier card in the deck, can happen due to the fact we get a new card, Fusion Grapha, requires Grapha plus any dark monster. And I've seen a lot of other tier deck trying to utilize it by having Sharon or any tier fuse with King of Swamp usually. Since King of Swamp can replace Grapha in a tier deck. However, in this one, there is already D Grapha. So I just don't even need anything. I just need to trigger Sharon, which can just be triggered by a lot of the discard source, or just can be triggered by milling like Foolish Burial. So yeah, that's a cool copy. And then it enables Grapha, the Fusion Grapha being summoned, which this guy is has some pretty broken file we're gonna go into. The next monster, last monster in the deck is Albion. Albion, along with the Branded High Spirit package. I guess I will just talk about High Spirit first. High Spirit, that's a card that only being seen before in tier deck in the history. It's actually has more applications than a lot of people think. It reveal monster and then send a level 8 fusion monster from the extra deck to the graveyard is the same type as that has 2500 attack or defense with level 8. And then it discard the revealed monster. Because it discard for the effect, that's how they trigger tiers. But since it discard by the effect, it also triggers DarkWorld. And then what level 8 Fiend 25 attack with defense existing? Oh, the Despia guys, because yeah, they're Fiend in the storyline. So this actually is a small package that functions in the whole deck. I can just go High Spirits, pitch, review any DarkWorld card, pitch the DarkWorld card, search Albion, trigger these DarkWorlds, and then Albion gonna give me another draw, like a pseudo upstart. It allows a lot of weird hands to combo. And also this like 3 High Spear, 1 Albion is a pretty good package that I think the deck quite a bit. And also I get to send a fusion monster to graveyard that even allowed Sharon or another card, this following card, DarkWorld Ascension. This is during the main phase, fusion summon a Fiend fusion monster from the extra deck by banishing material mentioned on it from the field or graveyard. So it's like a miracle fusion by itself. Quick play during the main phase. However, if I'm summoning a DarkWorld monster, I can also discard the fusion material instead. So that's the main fusion effect. Um, Normally, if I want something Grapha, then I'll just then well normally it allows to summon Grapha, but because of the nature of High Spirit sending fusion monster to graveyard, and because Despia's being fiend, this actually allowed me to even summon like either Coritus, well, this allowed me to summon Masquerade because Masker require Despia plus Light or Dark, and then I can just fuse the Cordis with any other monster um, with this. And then Masquerade can be like a good link material, Xyz material because level 8, and then do some burn damage if needed, which is cool. The biggest thing is I also get to send DarkWorld Ascension to graveyard for the graveyard effect. If this card is in my graveyard during my main phase, I can add this card back to hand, then discard a DarkWorld monster. So having Ascension in the graveyard actually just can turn on any DarkWorld in my hand, which is pretty good. And then Gate, old card, but best Darkworld card in the in Archetype. DarkWorld Archives, another new card. During the main phase, I can discard a DarkWorld monster. If I control any DarkWorld monster, I can discard another one from my hand to gain some attack. The gain attack don't matter. The main thing is I have a free discard if need to trigger whatever in hand. Because it doesn't gain anything, it's more so like an emergency situation for the first effect. The second effect is if a fiend monster is discarded from the hand by an effective Dark card or by opponent card effect, even during the damage step, I can discard another card to draw 2 cards. Obviously, discard for the effect. So the draw effect is what's like the most important part of it. It's also one of the main target to search by snow if my hand is able to enable that. It's a pretty good card. But however, being hard once per turn for both effect, 1 copy is enough. And then High Spirits, as I said earlier, it's a package. I can cut 1 copy, so I will not have a deck copy in the deck after I resolve the first one and send the second one with Albion. But this card by itself is just too powerful, it enables too many things. I think just worth the risk of having a deck copy later in the deck, but to trade the chance to see it. And then some limit card, Monster Reborn, Foolish Burial, Pot of Avarice. That's standard. 1 pot is just to make sure I don't deck out, which can happen. It's also by itself, it's a decent draw. So yeah. Upstart, Into the Void, Drag Down, Trading, Allure. These are just the draw engine. Very often I can think my deck to pretty much the bottom with just this amount of draw cards without any dangers. And then drag down is like okay, but there are like too many spells, and even including quick play spell like High Spirit and Ascension. So at the end, I think 1 drag down is enough. As you see, card destruction, one of the best Darkworld card, is not in my main deck. I am not brave enough to put card destruction in my main deck in a format where Tearlament and a Shizu card exist. So yeah, I would just side thing whenever I see like a non-Shizu, non-tier matchup. And then at that point, this will be a very good card. Very broken card. And then last but not least, Triple Tag Talent. You probably had a question earlier where I say I loop Silva twice to get rid of 4 cards in their hand, right? What are we gonna do for the last card? Silver has to place exactly 2 cards from my opponent's hand to the bottom. So if they only have 1 silver, second part of the effect won't even resolve. Therefore, we have the combo. Because Celluli is a monster that give to my opponent, then activate on their field, it treated as they activated monster, so it will allow Triple Tech Talent to be alive 100% of the time. So now you see, if my opponent never hand trap me, I'll just loop Silver twice, get rid of 4, and then look at their hand, get rid of the last card they have. Does hand looping all 5 of card in turn 1. And then for their top deck, we have this new fusion monster. Grapha, the Dragon Overlord of DarkWorld. It required Grapha plus Dark Monster, which can be summoned by either Sharon or DarkWorld Ascension. And then when my opponent activates a monster file or a normal spell trap card while I have cards in hand, I can activate the effect and then change that opponent's card. Change that opponent's card effect into I discard a hand, which essentially negate it. And then if this dies by opponent, I get to float into a regular Grapha from my graveyard or bash pile. So yeah, so pretty much the idea we loop 5 cards away, and then we put out negate to negate whatever they top decking. That's pretty much it. Then I guess we'll finish the rest of the extra deck. The Cordus and the Masquerade for High Spirits package. So yeah, pretty much self-explanatory. Mudcracker is a new secret from Darkwing Blast. It's actually a pretty good Dark World support card. Cannot be used as link material to turn it summoned. If monster I control be destroyed by battle or card effect, I can tribute a fiend monster instead. This part, I've been honestly forgetting it. It never happened to me. Whenever this monster being summoned, it usually just like ending the game by me looping the last few cards. So nothing will be dying after that. The final effect, I can target a fiend monster in my graveyard, and then discard a card in my hand to special summon back to my field. And for the rest of the turn, I lock into fiends. Fiend card pool is not that deep, which there isn't too many things to do besides just the Darkworld monsters. So usually this will be the last monster I summon, also for the fact it cannot be used as link material. So this will be one of the last monster I summon at the end of the combo to enable the last last summon of my negate or the last discard of this combo. So but by itself it's a pretty good card to support this deck. Akashic is a cool one that I don't really see people play. Naturally, I'll be throwing Celery to my opponent's field, and I'll always send it to either Zone 2 or Zone 4, and then thus allowing me to Akashic later to bounce it back. Akashic require 2 monsters of the same type, so essentially just any 2 Fiend monster in the deck, any 2 Dark Hole, usually a combination of Bane, Oxys, or Graphis. And then the mill effect is actually can come up. I can make a Cerberus under Akashic. Cerberus by also getting a draw on the summon by popping the Cereal I gave to my opponent. Then Akashic can go declare a card to mill 2 because it's calling to Cerberus. To then review the top 2. If there's a card I called, usually I will be calling either Triple Tech Talon or Pot of Avarice or Monster Reborn, one of these 3. To like finish my combo. So use this one to digging for triple T has happened before to me. And then Dark, the good old Dark. Probably should have like a Joy Swarm somewhere in my side, but yeah, we'll see. Dark just doing dark things. Yeah, we've been having this for long enough. Don't have to explain it. Griffin is another fiend monster that can be summoned after I lock into Fiend into Mudcracker. So the part of the enemy will just be Mudcracker on the top, and then having whatever the extra monster at the bottom link into a Griffin. Griffin will probably reset like a Monster Reborn or Pod to the field for follow up, or I'll just say the the last nail on the coffin for the opponent. And also Griffin be at bottom, while also making my opponent's monster not able to activate any effect. And even they do, it can possibly just be negated by Griffin. That's linking to Griffin more likely. So yeah, that's the only link monster I have. Xyz, Coach Kane is one of the most important extra monster in the whole. Honestly, one of the most important one. It requires 3 level 8. I can detach a material from the card, draw a card, and show it. If it's a monster, burn 800. And I cannot attack the turn I activate the effect, but I can use like up to 3 per turn. So I can use all three of that, which essentially means the sum of this card is a draw three, and then burn potentially up to 2400. Um, Reader is only here to enable sharing. That's pretty much it. Without, if I never draw sharing, probably just never summon Reader. But having Reader turn on sharing into Greffa is a pretty good combo. Baguska for in case D shifter happens, I make a rank 4 and pray. Then the Galaxy Eyes package, rank A can happen because the level 8 while going second. However, it really doesn't. I think going second, most of the time when doing the local I play, it's either just I barely get to do anything or I full combo everything. So haven't really summoned these, but I think it's always good to have them. Side, uh, Bell. Let me see. Tearlaments existing, and then both Ishizu and Beastels kinda annoying for this deck to deal, and Bell covers all of them. So I think that's one of the best side for like as an answer to those annoying things. Nagomin King. I haven't really seen this card despite it's being like hyped and then reprinted in the US OTS set. Um, if this card by this card, or if this card is integrated by codified by opponent, end their turn, which having Nagomin King can like your tier opponent might be saying, "Oh, you don't have any Shizu card. I'm gonna activate my Kellback." Or if they mill Nagomin King, I go end phase. Other thing is, if you draw this, you can combo with Greffa, the Fusion Greffa, and then turn any your opponent's card into a discard for you. Thus, turn on Nagomin King and just straight end the turn. It's a pretty hit or miss combo, but it happened to me, and I'm not regretting playing it. Card destruction. I'm not like I said earlier. I'm not really brave enough to play this or main this in a format where, um, like Ishizus and Tears existing. So this is just in the side, and I put in whenever I face like non-Ishizu, non-Tier matchups. Call by is the answer to D Shifter. That's a Duster, an answer to all the back row like DeFi, Macro, or the old ones. DarkWorld for going second in general. Skill Drain is honestly um, another card in my eyes that's like an answer to D-Shifter, which, yeah, the birds, they D-Shift you for a turn, you skill drain them for the rest of the game until they possibly out this, which is quite a few turns later. By that point, you probably get like several turns where D-Shifter is not applying, which should be enough to win the game. So, there's the whole deck. I guess before I really draw some test hand, I'll go through like how the order I combo usually. Long story short, looping starts Genta, looping the gates, sting the deck, draw, fill the graveyard with the big Darko monster, Greffa, and Baynox. And then once there's enough in the graveyard, having make 3 level A into co-trainer, draw more. And after that, uh, probably the first Celluli Silva combo has resolved with 2. I'll make a Akashic to bounce back the Celluli to attempt to reuse again. And then under the Akashic, I can make a Cerberus to potentially pop the cell or another Celluli to draw more cards. Or I just link the Akashic away into my Cracker and then turn on the Fiendlock. Muckracker will give me more monsters, and then uh, under Muckracker, like I can still do Cerberus if I haven't, or even Griffin to draw cards, and then once I loop Silly and Silver twice, that will be 4 cards away, and I probably draw into the Triple T to rip the last card. And then in addition to all those, make a Griffa by either Sharon or Ascension to put out on the gate for the final nail on the coffin. That's pretty much the idea. It's it does takes a lot of thinking of the order of the cards to sequencing while comboing. It does fail to combo sometimes, which it happened to me, but it's a pretty fun like single player deck. I'll say. So I guess I'll draw some opening hand. This doesn't look like a good draw. Might have to banish something. I think. Gento. I'll banish this one. It doesn't look like a good hand, but it's savable. So gate pitch Genta will Genta search the gate, then gate banish Genta and bring Genta back. This is like a small loop that kind of centralizes the deck. And then Ray can just bounce back the Genta this way, thus allow Genta to have another search of gate since it's not once per turn. Let me see here. I think I won High Spirit Baynox later. I think. This will give me another A. Yep. So, second gate. Gate effect. Send Grapha. Grapha, nothing happens. Grapha can bounce this back. Now my graveyard is empty. Go activate High Spirits. Send the Baynox. Send the Cordis. Here, search a second copy. So, oh, I forgot to mention other thing. The Cordis that was sent of High Spirit is also another thing in the graveyard that can be used at cost of gates. Where not having enough thing in the graveyard was like a weakness of gate. So High Spirits really solved that. And also Albion. Albion itself is both a level 8 which is a target for trading, and also a dark was a target for lore. And that's pretty good. Let's see here. This, I think, I'll be on first. To get rid of the death draw in the deck. This is already dead. Let's say, let's look at that, let's look at that. Okay, oh lord, that way. Ooh. Alright, goodbye. Here, let me see. Go normal down, pitch down. We'll go normal this, activate another gate, set this, activate drag down. Or just pretend my opponent's hand has like some spell trap I can discard. Silver bring this card, get a special summon. That will bring back the another Baynox. Then this guy is alive. I'll go gate effect, banish this, pitch this, search a copy of library. Activate library. Library effect, pitch Silly, and then allow library for the other effect, pitch silver, pitch another silver. So the silver that pitch off Silly will summon and trigger. My opponent will choose 2 cards to the bottom. And here, Transarchfiend still alive. Oh, this isn't. And this gate is also used. Okay, now I need a level A here. Which means this is not used. Okay. I think. Do I need more monsters? I do need more monsters. Okay. I'll go this, and then this into Akashic to get my Celery back. And then this will allow Into the Void to be alive. Ooh, okay. And Grandfather can bounce back this. Thinking. Grandfather bounce this by summon. Why just go pitch? Okay. I just go Chance Archfiend, pitch the Celery again. Oh wait, I'm supposed to bounce back this over first. That's fine. Snow will give me I guess under Celery. And then Greffa, summon. Oh. Activate Triple T, and I can rip one to the deck. Then here, go with this and this into Serp. Serb pitch the Genta, pop Celery draw card. Drawing a lot of monsters. That's annoying. And then, let me see, which card do I want to see here the most? Probably Force Burial. Force Burial can give me a Sharon access. Yeah, so, well, I can technically see the top deck because it's solo mode. I can just do this. Foolish Burial. So, trading and Albion. Cool. Useless cards. Here. Grapha. This back. These two into Muckraker. Which one do I have? Muckraker to revive Chance Archfiend by pitching Celery. Celery summon. Celery will pitch the Silva. Silva will summon. And then shuffle the last two. Let's see. And I can go this. Trans Archfiend. Do I have any more target? I have another Griffin. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, so Trans Archfiend. I'll summon the Silva. 4 of them. This, and this. Into Griffin. Griffin pitch Baynox. I guess this one I will set. Guess we'll set the Triple T because I didn't go through the whole deck. Draw one. Ah, nice. That's the card I needed. Bounce this back. Special. Bounce this back. Special. I don't. Well, I'm Fiend locked, so Sharon is dead in hand, but I want it to be in my hand. I'll proceed to Emphase. Into the Void, discard everything. Silver 1, Grapha 2, these are mandatory. Then Sharon 3. See, technically this Grapha is dead because I don't have anything in my hand. Well, I think because I missed a fight earlier this turn. However, you see, I didn't even go through the whole deck. There's like still a good amount of good spells in my graveyard. Like I don't have access to my Ascension. I didn't draw my Monster Reborn. A lot of the good draw cards, good spells especially, are still in the deck. And I'm still able to loop four hands away with Silva, and Triple T the last card, and resolve like Griffin underneath it. My opponent's on top deck, like they can be drawing a good amount of things, and that's useless with just one card. So yeah, that's the strategy of it. Obviously, remember high spirits can't even go back to hand if Griffin died. Uh, yeah, so it's I tried the danger at the very beginning. The problem with the dangers is like the good ones, Nissi Jack, Tsuchinoko, or even the like Mothman Chupacabra. Those are not level 8, and having a level 8, like I didn't even get to access to Cold Trainer because the sequencing on my hand. Um, you like the best ones are the level 8 that because they allow Cold Trainer, but these level 8s are doing absolutely nothing when going burst for their second effect. Then these ones, especially after the loss of Curious, having extra link body on the field really doesn't give me anything like at all. So, and also Mothman, like I don't even play card destruction, so I'll never even activate Mothman's second effect in this whole format unless I know in the matchup I'm already good, which is like post sighting already. So that's why I conclude like danger might just not be the way to play it. And all I see online are people playing danger, which I'm not a fan of it. I think there are just better packages like Sharon, uh, High Spirits, and other things. So, that being said, this is the single player, no danger DarkWorld deck hand loop deck profile. I played a local, I topped a local, but it's just a local, so it doesn't mean anything. It's a fun deck that doesn't really cost anything. Most of them reprint it in the structure deck. Trans Archfiend is really the only one that I had to like look for it because it wasn't reprinted. Then I already have the Sharon, the High Spirit, well, High Spirits were in the Mega 10. And then, yeah, well, I think the extra deck just like only thing expensive. Mudcracker might be hyping now. And then I think Photon Lord is might be the only thing cost money. But that's it. The deck is budget friendly. It's fun to play it by myself, just a single player game. If you like it, copy it, give it a try. Don't do this to your friend; they probably unfriending you. But have fun, and then I think this is my take on the Dark World deck. Hope you like it. I know the video is a bit long. I mean, I'm glad that you've been watching to this point. I mean, this is how how long my video usually is. But I don't know if I'm gonna post more or not in the future, and we'll see whenever I want to. So that being said, hope you like this. Share this to your friend. Like and subscribe to the channel, and then I may see you in the future. See ya.